Yo, that's actually solid. Damn man, this guy's like a saint. A style that I hope to emulate in my own work. I think about 1 million people can agree you've already got that, Ali. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Shane and I'm a recently qualified doctor, neuroscience supervisor at Cambridge and Oxford University, and in today's video we're going to be going through the personal statement written by none other than Ali Abdaal that earned him offers from both KCL and Imperial on top of his Cambridge offer. Now, for the minority of people who don't actually know who Ali is, he's a doctor, YouTuber and podcaster who graduated from Cambridge in 2018. So the first time we met was back in my second year, so that would be around 2015, and I remember him preaching to me about active recall and spaced repetition over a game of Articulate. Now, a few years later, he does pretty much the same thing, but on platforms almost totaling 1 million people. So I thought it'd be interesting to analyze his personal statement and see how closely it aligns with the framework I've developed as part of the Personal Statement Masterclass I've just released on Skillshare. This Personal Statement Masterclass is over 30 videos totaling over 2 hours, and it'll take you right from the beginning to the very end of your personal statement journey, not by telling you what to write, but instead showing you what works. Actually, here's a little clip from the Personal Statement course. For a lot of us, the personal statement is one of the most important things that we'll ever write. It's the thing that will determine the next 4 to 6 years of our lives. So it's easy to see the importance of making sure it's the best it can be. And that's exactly what I'm going to be helping you with throughout this class. My name's Shane and I'm a recently qualified doctor, Cambridge University grad and Oxford University supervisor. And in this class, we're going to be crafting together your very own expert personal statement. Unlike most other people, I'm not going to tell you what to write. Instead, I'm going to show you what works. After reading numerous personal statements, I've distilled that information into 8 key pillars. In the first few lessons, we're going to go through the 8-pillar framework based on the personal statements of students who've gotten into Oxbridge and other top UK universities. These 8 pillars will hopefully give you a framework to organize your thinking and will be the underlying principles behind your personal statement. We're also going to spend some time learning how to reflect on experiences so that we can extract meaningful lessons and talk about how it's changed us for the better going forwards. We're also going to be learning about strategies like personality and writing style to help us stand out and shine. After we've decided what you should include and how you should word things, we're going to delve in a bit deeper into the structure to make sure you tell a coherent story. I'll show you how to go from a pretty classic structure of an introduction, main body and conclusion to something that's exciting and appealing to read. We're going to be providing you with proven syntax and paragraph formulas that's going to make sure that everything you say carries a purpose and is meaningful. By learning all of these strategies, we're going to make sure that your personal statement flows beautifully like a story. We'll also be learning about the key quality table and how that's the best place to start your personal statement journey. And finally, we'll learn clever strategies for refining and cutting down your personal statement so that it fits within the character limit. These strategies will help you maximize what you can say in the fewest words possible. One of the biggest strengths about this video course is that I'm going to be analyzing in depth several example personal statements from students who've gotten into Oxbridge and other top performing UK universities, because this is the best way to see how the theory translates into the reality. The whole point of this masterclass isn't to give you a fake story that doesn't exist. Instead, it's about helping you craft your own story into something that delivers its absolute best. Because ultimately, I believe you guys deserve a place at medical school, and I don't want the personal statement to be the thing that holds you back. That's why I want to give you the best advice possible to make sure you guys get the place you deserve. So whenever you're ready, click the next lesson and we'll get started on crafting your very own expert personal statement. So this will be totally free for you to watch with the 2-month free trial over at Skillshare, the link for which you can find down below in the description. Anyway, let's get on with it and break down Ali's personal statement. So this personal statement is 669 words in total. Ali's introduction makes up 10%, the work experience and volunteering section was given 48%, academics was given 14%, extracurricular activities makes up 20%, and finally the conclusion made up 8%. Let's now go ahead and take a look at each of these sections in detail and see how closely it aligns with the framework that I've developed. This will hopefully serve as a proof of concept, proving that I'm not just making things up, but instead the framework I've developed is tried and tested and is guaranteed to get you success. All because it's not based on what I think is going to work, instead it's based on personal statements that have worked. So this is Ali's introduction. Standing in theatre for 7 hours doing a triple bypass surgery made me appreciate the resilience and tenacity required to be a successful doctor. The level of focus and adrenaline flowing through the room was tangible as the surgical team worked calmly through every complication that arose, stopping only when the final stitch was sewn. The display of sheer determination inspired me and strengthened my resolve to study medicine. Now, this introduction is a great demonstration of several concepts we've come across in the past lessons. The first two sentences shows his engagement with medicine and uses a specific example to increase its authenticity. And as we can see from the last sentence here, Ali has chosen to go down the creation story route, which works out because he uses a specific enough example. Often with cliched creation stories, they always share the same feature, that is, they're very vague and don't really have a genuine story to them. He's also shown a degree of reflection by extracting the key qualities he observed from doctors. And again, he uses several tools from the personality and passion pillars, using a unique writing style as well as lots of passionate words throughout. However, even with a specific creation story, there's always a pitfall of the person reading this and thinking, okay, this is one example, is this just a knee-jerk response? Has this person actually gone away to learn more about medicine? So to combat that thought, it's always important to follow up the creation story with engagement, especially talking about work experience and volunteering. This way you can immediately convince the reader that it's not just a knee-jerk response. Yes, your inspiration might have been because of a specific thing, but actually you've gone away and learnt more about medicine, and that's just strengthened your resolve. And that's exactly what Ali's done. So let's move on next and start the work experience section. Okay, so this is Ali's work experience section. To gain a better insight into the lives of doctors, I observed ward rounds and clinics in different hospitals. I was struck by the patient's gratitude towards and utmost respect for the doctors, even when things weren't going as planned. This again is a great demonstration of reflection, where he's given an example and extracted a lesson from it. This way, he's showing that he's mindful of all his experiences and he's not just taking them at face value, but is diving in deeper to find a more meaningful lesson. To improve this, he could have given a specific example and reflected a little bit more deeply on it. But like we've said before, we just don't have the space to give specific examples for every experience, nor do we have the space to reflect deeply each time. So really, it becomes a balancing act. For the majority of experiences, you should give a general enough example and reflect at a kind of surface level, and choose a few good ones to give more specific examples on, and then really go to town with those and give some deep reflections. Ali seems to be doing this pretty well so far, especially because he started it off with a very specific example and a deep reflection. Now he can afford to give a lower level reflection. So hopefully through these personal statements, you get a better idea of what kind of ratio to use between deep level reflection and superficial level of reflection. Anyway, moving on, he says, I was able to contrast experience with the healthcare system in Pakistan, where I spent a week shadowing both consultants and juniors. Although there was a huge disparity in facilities, I could see that doctors everywhere work towards a common goal, doing everything they can for the patient, with teamwork and communication playing a vital role in that process. I'm enthused by the prospect of becoming a part of such a dynamic and stimulating field. The first two sentences are great at providing a specific example and extracting a deeper meaning. Ali's basically extracted that fundamentally all doctors work towards a common goal, and they all share a common group of key qualities that enables them to be a good doctor. Not only that, but these sentences also allow him to show off his wide range of work experiences, essentially building up the case that, you know what, I care so much about medicine that I've gone totally out of the way to learn more about it. And it also shows that he's a deep thinker who's able to distill key qualities of doctors that transcends cultural and economic boundaries. The last sentence here is great at offering some passionate projection that also alludes to his motivations and his personal opportunities he hopes to gain by studying medicine. On to the next part of work experience, he says, 2 weeks spent in a GP surgery coupled with 5 years of being a St. John ambulance cadet highlighted to me the importance of primary care and society's dependence upon these services. What stood out most was how the doctor was able to explain her observations to the patient in an understandable and relatable manner, a style that I hope to emulate in my own work. I think about 1 million people can agree you've already got there, Ali. But yeah, this is a great demonstration of the syntax and paragraph structure we've been suggesting. That is to talk about an example, extract the key qualities, reflect on it, and then link back to medicine. Notice with all of these examples, Ali's using his experience as gateways to talk more about his ambitions as well as his deeper understandings. Now, this use of projection really shows that he's someone who thinks far into the future. He's already thinking about what type of a doctor he wants to become. This is a very powerful way to show the reader that you truly care about medicine. Next, he speaks about volunteering. I also volunteered at a school over the last year where I taught ICT to mentally and physically disabled young people. Although this was a challenge at times, I learned valuable lessons in patience and empathy, and the experience was immensely rewarding. I was particularly drawn to and worked with a child with autism. He was quiet and reserved, but our various discussions about trivial matters really brought out his personality, which shone brightly in his final presentation to the class. So this is a pretty textbook demonstration of the structure we've literally just been talking about, where Ali essentially begins with the experience, then goes on to reflect on the challenges he faced and then goes on to link that to the key qualities he gained as a result of overcoming these challenges. And to absolutely nail this section, Ali's provided a very specific and heartwarming experience right at the end. So hopefully this is showing you the value of using specific examples. It massively boosts your authenticity and amplifies the point you're making. Anyone can say they have patience and empathy, but only the people who provide a specific enough example are going to come across as someone who's truly showing those things. Notice again the unique writing style as well as passionate words he's using throughout. Anyway, on to the last part on work experience and volunteering. In addition, I have worked at a maths study centre for the past 4 years where I enjoy identifying students' strengths and weaknesses and working with them over a long period of time. This is another aspect of medicine which I am attracted to, being part of a patient's life and seeing them progress through treatment to hopeful recovery. This again is a great example of reflection, and he's also alluding to his motivations and the personal opportunity he hopes to gain by studying medicine. And the last sentence here serves to tell the reader that, you know what, I truly care about the person, which again is a great quality that unis look for in a personal statement but rarely find. Now let's take a look at the academic section of the main body. Being a naturally inquisitive person, I have always been drawn by the allure of science. I am fascinated by the workings of the human body in particular, and recently came across Oliver Sacks, the man who mistook his wife for a hat, which introduced me to other mental disorders and opened my eyes to the world of neurology. I find it amazing how even the smallest defect has the potential to alter a person's entire being, and hope to learn more about this intriguing subject along with others at medical school. The first sentence here uses great passionate words as well as personifying science, which adds to his writing style. The second sentence here mentions a specific supercurricular engagement, which of course Oxbridge will love, but it also shows that he's taken meaningful actions towards learning more about the academic side of medicine. And notice how he's not just name dropping the book and moving on. Instead, he actually reflects on what he gained from the book. And in the last sentence, he nicely links it back to medicine to emphasize why all of this is relevant to his medical school application. Now let's move on to the extracurricular section. Having spoken to many doctors and students, I understand that medicine can be a stressful profession, which is why it is important to find a good work-life balance. I personally enjoy playing tennis and chess and have also been running my own web design studio since the age of 13. This, along with my prefect duties, has really improved my organization and ability to work under pressure. This first sentence is a great gateway into the extracurricular section because it shows he understands the importance of a work-life balance and how that's so paramount in being a doctor. Because at the end of the day, this is why the extracurricular section even exists, is to show that you're able to function outside of academia and you have healthy coping mechanisms that are going to help you cope with the stresses of studying medicine. And Ali does this perfectly by talking about his extracurricular activities and positions of responsibility and linking it to the key qualities he's gained out of them. Moving on, he says, finally, I have recently discovered the world of magic and hypnosis, the psychology behind which I find incredibly fascinating. I take pleasure in sharing with people that moment of wonder, and have found that becoming a magician has also improved my confidence and communication skills. After a year of practice, I gave my first public performance as a hospice last month, and I'm now a regular volunteer there. Now, with these sentences, as well as throughout the personal statement, he's always linking examples to key qualities he knows that universities will value. In this case, confidence and communication skills. And again, he's used a nice specific example to add authenticity to his claims. And now finally, the conclusion. From watching open heart surgery to caring for vulnerable children, I have really enjoyed the blend of science and human interaction that medicine offers. No other career would allow me to combine my love of science with an inherently caring nature while making a profound difference in people's lives. The first sentence here nicely sums up his experiences and engagement with medicine. By using this contrast, he's effectively saying, look, I've seen the whole range of what medicine and care has to offer, and I like every bit. Usually we say in the conclusion to summarize your key qualities and show passionate projection. Instead, Ali has chosen to talk about his engagement and round that off. And to be honest, it works because it helps to round off the story that he's been saying throughout his personal statement. And the second sentence here does go on to show passionate projection and sums up some of his key qualities. But he's added another element, which is to talk about his engagement in a very conclusive manner. Now, if you'd like more example personal statements, you might like to check out this playlist. And if you're interested in watching the whole Personal Statement Masterclass completely free, then I've left the link in the description box below. But that's it from me for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.